Welcome back to another podcast with Niju, health and wellness with Niju. Welcome back. I hope everyone is doing well and I hope everyone is looking after themselves and taking the best care that they possibly can. And always remember that even in your hard times, you are elevating. Even in the times that you think you are not getting anywhere, you are. Because if your awareness is shifted to improvement and if your awareness is shifted to making yourself better, then any act, any attempt is already a victory. Just that awareness alone is a victory. So today, what I want to talk about is consistency will yield large results and how consistency beats motivation. So let me break it down real quick. So motivation will give you an extra boost, but that shouldn't be the main drive for what you're aiming to achieve. So I remember many times in my life that I would think that, I need to stay motivated at all times and I need to go hard at whatever I do. And then what ends up happening is I burn myself out because I'm shifting all of my mental capacity and all of my awareness and all of my energies to staying motivated instead of just keeping in mind my goals, which I, for example, have written down or I have put in a video format on my YouTube channel. And instead of focusing on just that, I'm focusing on the motivation, which is completely wrong because consistency really does yield the best results. So in my own experience, there have been times where I felt like I'm lacking in consistency, even with this blog and podcast that I have. Sometimes I struggle to keep up new ideas and content and I can easily beat myself up. But, I remember that taking a break is just as important. It's okay to take time away from your schedule and it is okay to take a break. I know I have had to take breaks just to get myself back, into the flow because, for example, keeping up everything, I have to post on social media, I have to post on my podcast and it just feels overwhelming. So sometimes I take a break just to regain and recenter myself really. And that's very, very important. So at this point, I have developed through all my practices of spirituality and mental health and physical health, I've developed a really strong mental attitude. And the most important thing that I've discovered is that I should be creating something that I can sustain. And what I call sustainable is things like being productive and staying consistent. So I need to develop things that I can be productive and I can stay consistent, but it has to be sustainable and it has to be something that I can maintain over a long period of time instead of doing it and then never coming back to it. Because I think many of us have had situations where we get into something and we literally go head first, and that's where the motivation is, because in the beginning we feel motivated, but are we really truly immersed? And that's the question. So you need to label the things that long term you can stay consistent with, because with consistency, as I say, it yields large results. So that means that it will produce fruitful outcomes, and you through these things you will actually develop a fruitful approach to everything you do in your life. So what I've discovered is that one has to obtain balance. You have to develop a routine that is sustainable. If you can't see yourself doing what you do now because it might be a bad habit, then aim to prevent doing it again. If you can see yourself, let's say 5 years from now, in a positive light with what you're currently occupying your time with, then keep going. If it's positive for you and it's good for your health, then keep it going. But if you see yourself long term not being able to do the thing that you are doing right now or whatever you're busy with, then you should probably reevaluate and think of something else. Also, another contributing factor is time management. This contributes largely to consistency in your endeavors. It definitely does. And I feel that managing my time, for example, staying away from too much social media, focusing on other people too much, focusing on even negative thoughts, this takes up time. So the best thing that I can recommend is developing also proper time management and managing your time and distinguishing from what's important, what has to be done, and what can wait to a later stage. How I see this, self-care always comes first. For me, I am the priority. And yes, some people might see it as selfish, but understand that making yourself the priority is needed, because when I was not doing that, I was putting other people's feelings first, and I was putting everything else first, like at least 3, 4, 5 things before my own health. Did that benefit me? No, I ended up in a really bad place. So what I like to do, I like to set up a challenge for myself to boost consistency. So to stay consistent in what I do and remain productive, I set up my own challenges. I set a goal that is in reach and something I can confidently achieve. I then overcome my challenges, and thus I build momentum. Even though life has its own trials and tribulations, fulfilling objectives which are fully in your control adds to the confidence to handle those which are out of your control. Also, in executing your intent, you then develop consistency. As I have mentioned, overcoming challenges builds momentum. Furthermore, momentum is fundamental for strengthening consistent output. Altogether, it is not easy as it may seem. Now and again I struggle with it, yet I am always improving. Working on myself bit by bit will yield large results. The desired outcome is important to a degree, but what is even more essential is that you have become more fruitful in your acts. Your striving capabilities have soared beyond what you thought you were built for. That in itself is a huge victory. And it truly is. So remember that consistency beats motivation, and staying consistent in what you do is the best thing that you can possibly do. So thank you for listening to today's podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it, because, the goal, like I always say, is improving people's lives, improving my own life, and, developing an unconditional love for ourselves, really. Like, for real. When I say loving others unconditionally, it's mainly myself. It mainly comes from myself. So yes, I hope you did enjoy. And if you did learn something, share this with your friends and family. Also remember to check out my Instagram, Maca, or you can follow me at Spiritual Niju on Instagram, or you can check out my YouTube, Health and Wellness with Niju. There are a few videos up there. I will drop the links down below to all of my socials if you want to contact me. If you have any questions, any queries, if you're struggling with something, I'm always here to listen. And, listen like a friend, like a real, actual, genuine person. But thank you for listening. Have a blessed day and a blessed week, a blessed month. And we're going to keep elevating. Much love and peace.